Hello everyone. Today we're going to take a look at steam trains in Tennessee. Now I got this idea from the website steamlocomotive.info, and I'm going to link to this website in the description below. This website lists all of the steam trains which are in the entire country, and specifically today we're going to take a look at the steam trains which are in Tennessee. Now this website lists a few trains which are off limits, they are in storage somewhere or part of a private collection. We're going to ignore those and we're going to focus on the trains that you can ride and the trains that you can see, which are in Tennessee. Now, usually in a video like this, I'm going to limit it to only photos I have taken, but there are a small number of trains that I don't have photos of in Tennessee. So wherever appropriate, I have taken a screenshot from their website and included it in this video. You can tell because it's going to have the it's going to be a picture of their website. I'm not going to talk about all of the technical details about each of these trains, the history, when they were made, who made them, what train lines they ran for. You'll be able to find all that information in the link below for steamlocomotive.info. Today, the focus of this video is where you can find each of these trains. We're going to start with the trains that you can ride, and this photo is the same train as the last slide. We are looking at the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum in Chattanooga, and they run multiple excursion steam trains throughout the year. They have a few diesel trains as well, but you can book a trip on one of these steam train trips, or I personally recommend, if you want to save a little money, wait until they have Railfest every September, and for a cheaper price, you can still ride a steam train on the Missionary Ridge Local, and that is for about $30 you can see a train, but they have two steam trains in operation right now. Here's a view of their second train. It has not been running as long as the first one that we've looked at, so I don't have a current photo of it. The only photo I have of it was taken in 2013 when it was still in their repair shop, which you can see in this photo. The next place you can ride a train is at Dollywood. Now, if you are only a train enthusiast, you might not want to pay the higher cost of going to a theme park just to see a train, but there are some trains to see here that run pretty much every day. This one is named Klondike Katy. And they have a second train named Cinderella, and they don't run both trains every day. They go back and forth between one, so one is operational and the other one is getting maintenance. They do have a third train which is purely on display near the entrance of Dollywood. You may not realize that the history of Dollywood actually dates back to 1961 when it was only it started off as the Rebel Railroad in 1961. So this train has been operational since 1961. At the time, all it was the excursion train that had about a couple of mile loop, and they had a fake train robbery as part of the attraction. And then a theme park opened up around it, and then in the 80s, Dolly Parton bought an interest into the theme park so that it became Dollywood as we've known it today. But this theme park this railroad has been running for almost 60 years. A third place you can ride a steam train in Tennessee is going to be in downtown Knoxville at the Three Rivers Rambler. Now, I believe they also have a couple of trains that they switch out, but this is the one that I see in most of their pictures. This train does not run as often, and they tend to focus on fall leave excursion trips, so they are more active in September and October. Now, a discussion of steam trains you can ride would not be complete without me talking about this steam train, which used to be on display at Centennial Park in Nashville. Now, when I was a child in the 1980s, this train was behind a fence, and then in the 90s they built a nice canopy for it, which you can see in this picture. But about a year ago, uh, they have been working on turning this train into a train that you can ride, and that's going to happen in partnership with the Tennessee Central Railroad Museum in Nashville. About a year ago, they actually transported this train from Centennial Park to that train museum. So this is no longer on display, no longer here. But if you want to follow the progress of this, eventually you'll be able to ride it. And the best place to check on that is at their website, nashvillesteam.org. Now we're going to talk about the steam trains you can visit and see on display. This one is in Collierville, Tennessee. We are going to start in West Tennessee and work our way east. Collierville is a suburb of Memphis, and they have a depot and several train cars on display on the south side of the town square. And if you want to see some train action, there are modern train lines about 10 feet behind me that get lots of trains go through there every day. Next up, we have this train at the Discovery Park of America in Union City, Tennessee. That is a fantastic place to visit, lots to do. They have this train and a caboose and lots of cars and planes, and you could easily spend a couple of days there. I just have not been yet, but that is a fantastic, relatively new tourist attraction in West Tennessee. Another West Tennessee tourist attraction that has a lot to do with trains is going to be right off the interstate in Jackson, Tennessee. This is at the Casey Jones Village. Casey Jones was a railroad engineer who gave up his life to stop a train from runaway train from killing many people. This train is not the train that he stopped, but it is supposed to be an identical model and is there is a Casey Jones Museum at the tourist attraction, and you can get right up close to it if you pay for admission. Personally, I stood on the other side of a fence to get this picture, but it is a great museum. Moving on to Middle Tennessee, in Columbia, Tennessee, if you go to Maury County Park, there is this narrow gauge steam train from the Armor Fertilizer Works. This city park it also has an extensive live steamers display that runs once every 3 months and also has a caboose on display. One county south of Columbia, if you take the exit on Interstate 65 for Linville, that will take you to the Linville Train Museum, where they have this nice restored steam train. And as a bonus, they have a wigwag. There are not too many of those that you can see in Tennessee. Now, the depot here is a replica depot, but it is a nice free museum. Next, we have another free museum in the town of Cowan, Tennessee. This city is located south of Winchester on Highway 41A, and this is the last city before the highway makes the descent up to the Monteagle and Sewanee area. And it's also an important railroad town because it's the last stop before the train lines also have to go up the mountain, and there is a famous railroad tunnel that is most of the way up the mountain, and so there is also a lot of railroad action on live tracks that come through here. There are some CSX pusher trains that help get the freight trains up and down the mountains, but this is also a wonderful free railroad museum. Moving on to Cookeville, in the Cream City Ice Cream Historic District, there is another free museum, which is great. It has this steam train and some other Tennessee Central cars along with it, and this is one that you should also check out. Now we're going to move into East Tennessee, and we're going to go back to the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum in Chattanooga, where there are many trains available to see on the property grounds, including this steam train here. Here's a second steam train, and there are also some diesel trains that you can see, caboose in the background, and other rail cars. Unless you're going on Railfest Day, admission to the grounds of the museum are free. However, to get to this next one, you need to purchase a ticket on the Missionary Ridge Local. The great thing about that short excursion train is it does go through a historic railroad tunnel, and it takes you to the East Tennessee Railroad Shop. They give you a demonstration on how a turntable works, and then you can see a few trains which are eventually going to be restored, which are available here. To the left of this photo is the train shops. That's where I had the photo from 7 years ago of the train before it was restored. And so, yes, to get here, you have to purchase a ticket, ride the train, and then you can see what's available here. While you're in Chattanooga, a train enthusiast should also check out the Chattanooga Choo-Choo. That is the historic passenger depot, which has been converted into a tourist attraction and a hotel. If you wanted to, you can actually sleep on a passenger car. You can view this one for free. They also have a nice miniature train exhibit on the grounds here, as well as souvenir stores and a candy shop. And there is also a small trolley that you can ride around the parking lot. Our next stop takes us to see the train called Dorothy at the Little River Railroad Museum in Townsend, Tennessee, along Highway 321. Townsend is another entryway to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. It's not as famous as Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, but this is the city that you're probably going to pass through if you're going to Cades Cove. Our last stop today takes us to the town of Elizabethton, and this is located at the Elizabethton City Park near where highways US 19E and 321 meet. This one belonged to the North American Rayon Corporation. And what is different about this train is, at least according to the historic marker out front, this was the last steam train in operation in Tennessee outside of excursion railroads. This was actually in use up until the 80s. Once it retired, they built a nice pavilion for it to be on display here. If you like this video, please check out my website. In the links below in the description, I'm going to leave a link to my theme gallery page, and from there you can click on the button for All About Trains, and that's going to take you to a link that shows you all of the uh, pictures from this slideshow that were my photos, as well as other train sites in and around the Middle Tennessee area. Thanks for watching. Bye.